Hi everyone, Boomer here in the Dream Giveaway Garage, and today we've got something extra special for you. As you can tell, I'm standing next to half of the prize package for this year's Corvette Dream Giveaway. And this obviously is the 2020 C8 Corvette. Yes, the long-awaited mid-engine replacement for the C7, and I can tell you, beautiful, beautiful car. This car is a 3LT car, which means it is the top-of-the-line appointment on the inside, and it is a Z51 car, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. So we're going to do the walk around on this car, and because normally we start with popping the hood and showing you the motor, guess what? Not here anymore. It's way in the back. So we're going to move around a little bit, and then we'll get started. All right, here we are at the front of the car, and you can see this car is so much different than the C7. The front end of this car is super, super short. Your wheels are like a foot from the front of this car. Cool things about it, obviously you've got brand new redesigned headlights. You've got everything has been incorporated in these headlights now. Your lights are in there, your marker lights are in there, your turn signals are in there. Very, very cool. This being a Z51 car, it does have the carbon fiber front spoiler, and then all of the rest of your front materials up here are finished in the, this is called magnetic flash, I do believe, on these cars. It's that metallic black that all of this stuff comes in. So you've got these like little dive planes here, you've got the front grille, you've got all of that. Of course, you've got a camera up front here. But of course, where we used to have a motor, we now have something else. Let me pop this open for you here. Front trunk release is now right here up front. So this thing will pop open. Front trunk comes up. You've got a little space up here. The space is not huge, but it is kind of neat. It's got room for a small suitcase and a couple other things up here. Your windshield washer fluid is up here under this. There's your brake fluid. And if you order a Z51 car, it also comes with this cool little kit. These go up underneath and in your suspension when you go take it to the track. And it helps divert air up and into your brakes so that you're cooling your brakes like you should. But you know what? No motor. Motor's all in the back. So let's go take a look at the motor. Okay, here we are now at the what it would be the business end of this new C8 Corvette. Nice wide back end, beautiful. You can see that the Z51 rear wing on this thing, all of the rear, really cool valance, the rear diffuser that's back here. It does have a quad tip exhaust on it. Tail lights are obviously redesigned, brand new. But here is what everyone is talking about when you open this bad boy up. There it is. This is the LT2 motor for the new C8 Corvettes. 495 horse, 470 foot-pounds of torque. Red line is 6,700 RPMs. It'll do 0 to 60 in 2.9. This is a brand new redesigned motor for Chevrolet. The aluminum block is just a little bit smaller, fits in a little bit more compactly, and this is a dry sump motor, so that is also really cool. Since we opted for the carbon fiber package on here, as you'll be able to see, you've got these really nice carbon fiber inserts that surround the motor here, very nice. There's your rear window that separates the cockpit from the engine compartment. And then also, this is your rear trunk and where you actually store your hood, or your roof rather. The roof that we have in here now is the carbon fiber pack roof. It's the exposed carbon fiber with the red trim. Absolutely beautiful little roof. This opens up nice and wide so that you can get in here and do a little bit of maintenance on this thing anyway. But these motors were really designed to come out the bottom of the car just like in the other high-end supercars like Lambos or Ferraris or whatever, McLarens for that matter. So, all right, now that we've got you on this end, let me jump in this thing and fire it up so that you can really hear that exhaust note. All right, we've got her fired up here. Let me put her over into sport mode. There we go. Sounds like a winner right there. Beautiful motor. Of course, on here, this car requires a 500-mile break-in. So what you get from that is the computer won't unlock itself until you get to 500 miles. And when you do, like for right now, below 500 miles, the red line is set at 4,500. The yellow line is set at 3,500. You're not supposed to exceed 4,500 RPMs for the first 500 miles of the car. Once you break that 500 miles and you hit that 500 mile mark, go over that, then it opens the computer up. It opens up all your horsepower to you. It opens up all of your other functions on the car. Red line jumps up to 6,700, and you get full use of all of the great mechanics that come with this car. So, with that said, just a couple other small styling points that are really cool. Of course, you do have the third brake light that's super wide in this car. You've got the black Corvette on here. Just an absolutely beautiful car. So, with that said, let's move on. Now that we're inside the car here, you can kind of see the length of this car and how beautiful it is. Short nose, long door, long rear end. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So let's start up front and we'll work our way back. This car does have, it is a Z51 car, like we were saying before. So it does have the big Brimbos. You've got the 6 pistons up front. You've got the 4 pistons in the rear. You've got 19-inch rims up front, 20s in back, 245s up front, 305s in the rear. So a lot of tire. And these are the Michelin Sport Cup 4S tires. Very good tires, very sticky, very performance oriented. They're not going to last you forever, but man, I tell you what, you warm these things up, you can really throw this car around. It'll handle like a dream. We did opt, obviously, for the 15-spoke black wheels. These are gorgeous with the black lug nuts in them. Very cool. You can also now see the carbon fiber side skirt that runs the length of this car. Carbon fiber on this car is absolutely beautiful. Your door piece is in the carbon metallic flash, and your mirror is also in carbon metallic flash. Mirrors obviously are power, and you do have the lane warning in here for all that, and you have the turn signals incorporated in here. No roof, right? Well, of course, all of these cars are Targa cars, so you've got the lift-out roof. This one does come with the 2 roofs. Since we ordered the carbon fiber package on this car, it came with the carbon fiber exposed roof that is trimmed in red down the sides here. Very nice looking. We also have the other roof that's with it. It's a tinted roof. So whoever wins these cars is going to get both roofs. You can decide if you want to ride around with no roof or with the carbon fiber or with the tinted one. It's all up to you, whatever you prefer. All right, as we start to go back even further, of course, these are no gas cap cars now. That's the way they all work. Just push it, opens up. Very cool. And then you get back here to the hatch. Much, much different than the C7s. Obviously, your motor is back here in the back. And you've got your rear glass now goes all the way through, and you can see that beautiful LT2 motor sitting there under that glass. There's also a glass piece on the interior that separates the driver's cabin from the motor compartment. You get a nice little rumble, but you don't really hear it coming through that glass. You get it through the exhaust coming from the outside, so it's kind of cool. Also incorporated up here is a camera. There's a really cool feature for the interior. We'll show you that when we get to the interior piece. And then, of course, The Z51 cars have this beautiful raised wing on them. Also in the carbon metallic flash. Just a all-around gorgeous, gorgeous car. So now that you've got to see kind of the outside, let's kind of go and look at the business end of where you get to control in this car, and that's on the inside. All right, sitting in the new Corvette is an experience in itself. I mean, this is just, it's a beautiful car, number one, but it is so driver focused. For those of you out there who ever flown an airplane, I mean, this is kind of what that's like. It's like sitting in an airplane cockpit where you've got everything kind of right at your fingertips, everything that you need to control and make this car do all the amazing things that it will do. So starting up front, one of the things that you notice is you've got a square steering wheel. Yep, a square steering wheel. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you drive this car a little bit and get the feel for this wheel, it is absolutely amazing. I love the wheel in this car. It is very, very cool. Next thing you notice, obviously, is how well appointed this cabin is. You've got the red, you've got the black, you've got the beautiful red stitching. It runs through the door panels. It runs in your seats. It's everywhere. It's on the dash. Just absolutely beautiful. This car also has the GT2 seats in it. GT2 seats are the middle seats in the Corvette lineup. For right now anyway, you got the entry-level seats, you got the GT2 seats that have the bigger bolsters, you've got the carbon fiber accents on them. They are red and black, very beautiful. They're power, so you can move them around, very nice. But then there is a third level seat, and that is their competition seat, which is a very, very track-focused seat. And not very comfortable for bigger folks. I mean, I'm 6'2", 220. I fit nicely in the car. These bolsters feel really good to me. But I have actually been told that the competition seats for someone my size or bigger can get a bit uncomfortable. You don't have to worry about with these GT2 seats. They're pretty nice. So rest of what you can see here is most everything else is at your fingertips on the steering wheel. You've got your cruise on this side. You've got some selectors on this side. You can select your steering, your voice control, a couple other things. This controls your displays here in the dash. Rolls up and down, clicks left and right. These are your paddle shifters, and here is your gear selector. Now, one of the things that a few people I know are going to have an issue with is, no, this car does not come in a manual. Why? Chevy elected to put the new 8-speed dual clutch automatic transmission in this car. Now, I will tell you after driving it, shifts extremely well, shifts extremely fast. Would I have liked to have seen another 6-speed? Yeah, probably. I'm a 6-speed guy. I like driving manual cars. But here's what I'll tell you. This thing is a push-pull transmission kind of deal. So you pull up on it for drive, you pull up on the R button for reverse, and then right here there is a manual button. You push that manual button and it allows you to use your paddle shifters. Right side is shift up, left side is shift down, and you can set it to however you want to set it. Very, very cool. When you're driving it in a manual mode and paddle shifting, to be quite honest, I didn't even miss throwing gears. It actually turns into a lot of fun. It's not bad at all. Some purists are still going to hate it. That's okay. Chevy's not making this thing in a 6-speed, so you might as well get used to it. And there you have it. One of the other really cool things on the steering wheel is, you'll be able to see it in the video here, is this button. It's got a big Z on it. It's called the Zorro button, or what they call the Zorro button. Basically, you've got a lot of different settings in this car, whether it's touring mode, sport mode, track mode, or weather mode. What you can do is you can go in through your computer and program this Z button for anything you want, any combination of the suspension settings, drive settings, traction settings, whatever it is that you want. And so, like right now, when I drive this car, normally I drive it in sport mode. So when I get in the car, I've got it all set to, I get in, I push this button, and it sets the entire car to sport mode and sport 2 traction. And the car is set up for me to drive it. Now, one of the other things you've got here is this rotary knob that's underneath this nice piece of leather with a Corvette logo embossed in it. And you turn it left and right. And this is where you select your traction modes and where you go through some of the other things in the computer. It allows you to select, I think there's 6 or 8 traction modes in this thing. There's normal, there's wet, there's Sport 1, there's Sport 2, there's track, and I think there may be a couple others thrown in there too. But it takes a little bit of getting used to work through some of this, but it turns out it's not that hard once you play with it for a little bit, just to kind of figure out where you're going with all this. Neat. So you've got, down here on the bottom, you've got your favorite settings here for your radio. This is for your volume control. Your heads-up display controls are here. This does have heads-up display in it. Very cool, colored heads-up display. And each one of your drive modes, Tour, Sport, and Track, has a different setup, the way the gauges are displayed. You can select some of that, what you want displayed on the screen. It also changes your heads-up display for you. It gives you a little different look. If you're on the track, basically, it gives you miles an hour and it gives you your shift points. Lets you know when you're coming up into the red line, and then your cluster itself changes. The cluster is really neat in this car. When you start the car up, you get a display of the car, you get an outline kind of the motor, and then when you fire it up, you get all the things. So I'm going to go ahead and fire the car up, and then we'll go through a little more of these things. So push the button, and what's it telling me? My key's in sleep mode, because your key will go into sleep mode. You got to move it around, and there we have it. So, control for on your door over there, that's for your 1 and 2 settings on here. So this thing, my Zorro is set up. Push the button, I'm in track mode. I've got everything I want to see here. If I want to change my modes, if I want to move from track mode to sport mode, switch it over to, there's sport and there's track. Exhaust note changes, goes to track mode, gives you your tack across the top, gives you the other gauges that you've selected. Really, really cool stuff. We'll hit it one more time. We're going to go back to tour mode. Let's go back to tour mode here. There we go. Now we go to tour mode. Changes up again. Now, this does have the dual mode exhaust on it. So depending on what mode you put it in, you're going to get a different tone out of your exhaust. Sport mode's a little, or tour mode's a little more quiet. You go to sport mode, and you can hear the exhaust change just a little bit. Got a nice little rasp to it. Red line on this car is 6,700 RPMs, and it really makes most of your horsepower up around there. It's 495 horse, as we discussed before, and I think 470 torque. So very, very quick car. 0 to 60 2.9 seconds. Just an all-around really cool car. Over here you've got your settings for all of your radio. There's your radio display up there. You've got your music, you've got your phone set up, you've got your navigation system. Over here you can pull up your climate stuff, but all your climate controls are also right here in this sidebar, which is pretty neat. So all of you've got like your heated and cooled seats, they're all here. You can sync it, set your auto. Here's all of your modes, defrost and all that. Your fan speeds, this is controls for your air conditioning. These are the controls for your passenger, and cool cup holder, that's very nice. One of the other things you've got up here is this little button right here. You got 2 buttons up here. One is for the traction control, and when you push it twice, it allows you to do some access into your traction modes. But This button here is your front camera. So you push that button, and on the screen up here, you can see both left and right cameras and right down the nose on this car, so you can see how close you're getting to stuff. Car is a little bit low on the front side, but this should keep you from running into anything that you don't want to run into. You've got several different modes there that you can look at. There's the rear mode there, wider rear mode. There's a longer front mode. There's your 3-view mode. Pretty cool stuff. And if you want to get out of it, just go back to home, sends you back to home, and you've got everything else that goes on up there. Of course, all of this is adjustable here. You've got tilt and telescopic wheel that is power. It's very nice. For those of you who are into racing, you've got this really cool red band that runs around your steering wheel. A lot of people ask you, why is there a red band around there? Well, if you're on a road course and you're whipping left and whipping right and you're throwing this car around, once you can always tell where your wheels are pointing straight again when this is straight up and down. So it's a really neat feature. All right, the other neat feature I wanted to show you in here, like we talked about earlier, was you've got your standard rear view mirror. Visibility out of the back of the car is limited. I'll tell you that straight out. But what this thing does is this. Normally when you flip this little button right here, you know, everybody remembers that back in the old days, you flip it, for the guy behind you had your bright lights on and it kind of dims the mirror down. Well, this one, when you flip this forward, you get the camera view that's in the rear hatch. It gives you a full projected wide view out of the back of that camera. It's a panoramic view out the back. It's really, really neat to do that and drive around. Might take some folks a little getting used to that you're looking at a camera and not actually looking out your rear view mirror, but the visibility is much, much better when you're doing that. You know, one of the other things I wanted to talk about while I was sitting in the car in here, you do have, this does have the Bose stereo in it. You can see the Bose here. You've got speakers in each door. You've got some other speakers in the cockpit here. You've got some up front. Beautiful sounding stereo. I won't go too much through that with you. But you've got the carbon fiber accents in the doors. You've got these really cool door plates that are in here. And you've got this other silver trim. I still don't, I'm not real sure about this. I'm not sure why they went with carbon fiber, red, brushed aluminum, bright aluminum. And then you've got these little toggles, and these are for your vents, how you set your vents up. Not exactly sold on those too much, but I'll live with them a while and see how they work out. Hopefully, also, one of the other cool things I wanted you to see is there is in the middle of the car, you've got the center console. It does have a phone charger in it, so you can put your phone in there and it'll charge your phone. But as you can see on the video here, there's a speaker right here in the middle. And in this speaker, it says Stingray and it's got the Corvette emblem. But this one actually says built in Bowling Green, Kentucky, USA, Dream Giveaway, and it's got the VIN number on it, which is really, really cool. It's a nice piece that everybody will know that you got your car from Dream Giveaway and the Dream Giveaway garage. So, all right, well, let's finish off the interior here and let's move on. Hi everyone, Boomer here in the Dream Giveaway garage. And today, I'm going to be taking a look at the second half, or the other half, of our Corvette Dream Giveaway for this year. And here it is, you can see it, a 1962 Corvette, and then this is where we start having problems. Is it a resto mod? Is it a pro touring car? Is it a full custom car? I will tell you this, I just call this a 1962 Corvette Custom. Everything on this car is custom made for it, okay? It starts with an Art Morrison chassis. It has a C6 Corvette suspension up front. It has a Ford 9-inch in the rear. It's got a brand new LS3 motor in it. It's got a 4L65E 4-speed automatic transmission. It's got a custom hood. It's got custom interior. It's just an amazing, amazing vehicle. So, without further ado, let's jump into it and start taking care of this motor. All right, before we dived into the motor, I wanted to talk about the front end of this car first, because obviously you can see it, and it is much different than a regular 62 Corvette. And like I said, this car is a full custom. All right, starting with this gorgeous, gorgeous cross flag badge with an American flag in it. That thing is absolutely beautiful. And as you can see, rolls back into a ZR1 style glass opening hood. Very, very cool. Now, the headlights on this car have been Frenched. They've been moved back in, and these are LED lights with halos, and they're halogens. So when you turn the lights on this thing, you get this really cool halo around each of these lights. Very, very neat. Coming down, I mean, you can obviously see that the bumpers, the bumper mounts have been removed. All of this has been smoothed. These inserts have been put in here. Behind here you have that LED turn signal. That's a sequential turn signal. Very, very neat touch. You've got LED driving lights in this. Very, very nice as well. And of course, a lot of people start getting hung up on this grille. This is why we call this a custom car. This grille is fitted with pieces, I think, from a 58, a 59, maybe even a 60, 61 grille. The shop that built this car to the taste of their lead builder. And this is what he liked. I mean, he put in here stuff that appealed to him. Because when you get around to the side, when we get around to the side, you'll see this, the coves on this car are not 62. 62 had just the little coves in it. This has got 61 cove highlights in it, but we'll get to that in a little bit. You can see through the grille here, your air intake sticking down there a little bit. Plus, this is an Art Morrison chassis, so you get to see a little bit of the chassis set up underneath here. And I will tell you that the underneath of this car is just as beautiful as the top side, and maybe even more so in some places. It's all powder coated red to match this beautiful salsa red exterior with a flame red interior. Okay, with that said, I'm going to walk around here and give this hood a little open. The hood is an electric hood and operates on a push button. One push. Push it, hood comes up. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the motor on this car. All right, looking down into this engine compartment, you can see how really cool this is. Basic package started with an LS3 crate motor and the little 4L65E automatic transmission. And then the motor got obviously some upgrades here. So what you're looking at is you've got a Holley Sniper EFI system with this really cool high-rise intake on it, custom polished aluminum air intake. You've got these beautiful brushed aluminum coil pack covers on here. It's got a really nice dual-core electric fan up front. This car runs nice and cool while it's running down the road. It's got the air conditioning up here, the vintage air. You can see your air compressor is up here. Nice little LS3 badge on the firewall here. Your brake booster, you know, of note, again, everything in this car is brand spanking new. This motor makes 450 horsepower, give or take. It's not a super high horsepower motor, but then again, for a car like this, you really don't need those high horsepower numbers. This is just a really nice, you know, drive to the car show, cruise to the movies, do those kind of things in this car. It was never built or meant to be a full-on drag car like some of the other cars we have. But man, I tell you what, fires up first time every time, makes a great sound, as you'll hear when we get to start this thing up. And just a beautiful package, installed beautifully, and runs fantastic. Okay, one of the other things that I'll mention while we're standing up here is you'll obviously see that there are no windshield wipers on this car. Windshield wipers on this car do work. Aesthetically, the windshield wipers were removed and had to have these little caps on here. We're not going to drive this car in the rain. It's not going to be out in the rain. Whoever wins this car, if you want to put a set of windshield wipers on it, basically you pull the caps off and you put your windshield wipers on and you're good to go. The other thing is, of course, the C1 Corvettes had these pop-up, basically they were air conditioners. There's a little knob under the dash. You push it forward, this thing will raise up. This one has been sealed. It is non-functional. You don't really need it. You do have air conditioning in this car, or you can just keep the top off with the windows down like I prefer to do. So, that said, let's move on. All right, in profile of the car now, one thing I did want to show you as we finished up the motor here was how this hood actually goes down. Again, one button push, you push it, it goes down. This is a really nice Dakota digital setup. It has limiters on it, so the hood will go down, it stops when it's supposed to, goes up, stops when it's supposed to. I mean, just a really nice setup. So as we've moved to the side of the car here, I mean, obviously you can see what I talked about earlier, that these are not your standard 62 Cove inserts here. These are out of a 61. Why? Builder wanted it that way. He likes these inserts better than he did the 62s. And quite frankly, I'm not real fond of the 62s either, so I do like these better. All right. All the way around this car also, you've got these custom American Racing aluminum wheels, and these things are gorgeous. They're wrapped in Firestone Firehawks that are 225, 50/17 all the way around. Underneath here, you do have a disc brake setup. This is from hub to hub, this is out of a C6. So you've got C6 brakes, you've got C6 components all the way through. I do believe it has a Detroit Speed steering rack in it. It's a really, really nice piece. So the steering on this car is super, super precise. It drives really, really well. Moving back here, you can see beautiful body lines on this thing. This salsa red is absolutely gorgeous. All the chrome, everything on here is brand new. And I probably should mention at this point, this is an Art Morrison chassis, a full Art Morrison chassis with the C6 front end in it, with the Ford 9-inch rear end in it. It does have obviously the LS3 we just looked at, the 4L65E 4-speed automatic overdrive transmission, all put together underneath this car. Absolutely stunning underneath. We even have mirrors that we set behind this thing so that you can see it all. The exhaust is a Borla exhaust, and it sounds wonderful when you crank this car up. And on top of that, this is a brand new body shell. So you've got an Art Morrison chassis with a brand new body shell. So a lot of people ask, what did it start out as? Well, it started out as an Art Morrison chassis and a brand new body shell. This was never a 62 built Corvette. This is a brand new car. When we bought this car, it had 48 miles on it. Now it has like 175 miles on it. So we don't drive it a whole lot, just enough to shake it down, make sure it runs, drives well. I've driven this car a lot. It is stunning. You can stop a crowd anywhere you go in this car. It is amazing. Coming on back, of course, you've got your gasoline release. It's inside there, all new chrome. You can pop the top on this thing. I'll show you this real quick. It does have two tops with it. You've got the full mechanical top here, that is finished in red. So this is a red on red car, on red if you want to go that far. Brand spanking new top, and it does have a red hard top that goes with it. And the red hard top bolts in, plugs in, even has a third brake light in the rear window. So everything on this car is brand spanking new. Just an absolutely gorgeous little car. So let's jump inside. I'll take you through the interior and then we'll start it up. Sitting here in this car, I mean, it really kind of takes you back. I mean, this is a beautifully done interior on this car. Of course, you've got the brand new carpet. You've got these flame red seats that are all trimmed in white. You've got a brand new steering wheel, flat bottom, very cool. You can see the door panels over here behind me, got the Corvette logos in them. So driver-wise, of course, you've got brand new odometer gauges, and these are white face gauges, and they're beautiful. One of my favorite things about this car is when you turn the lights on, you get the white lights in the dash here. Super cool look. I really like it. So you hit the lights, all of your light gauges light up, and it's really neat. So you've got your tack, you've got your speedo, water, oil, volts, and fuel. You've got a clock right here. The car does have vintage air. It even does, I forgot, has a transmission temp gauge down here just to make sure you're keeping track of your transmission. Got custom pedals in it. Your shifter is a really neat one. It's for this little automatic transmission. It looks like a little 3-speed or 4-speed on the floor, but it is an automatic. It's got a nice white ball on it. Very cool. Everything else in here is brand spanking new. Console got one cup holder in it and goes up and down. Got a little bit of storage in there, but very neat. So before I start this up, this does have a really cool security precaution with it. It's got a little red key with it, and I'll show you this when we get into the trunk. The little red key goes in there, and you can turn your fuel pump on and off. So if you're going to leave this sitting at your house, in the garage, you want to make sure nobody drives away with your car or whatever, you can actually turn the fuel pump off on this car, which is very neat. So flip the switch over, fuel pump comes to life, and car fires right up. The Borla exhaust sounds amazing on this car. All your gauges come up, everything comes up to life. It does have a AM/FM Bluetooth radio in it. It's got a couple little speakers up front, nice sound. But I usually keep it just turned off because I would rather hear the motor on this car. That sounds so good. Absolutely really cool sound out of that Borla system. So, with that said, let's go ahead and shut her down and we'll move to the back and I'll show you the trunk of this car. Standing back here behind the car, you get what is probably one of my favorite views of this car because it's so iconic. You get the beautiful, twin taillights on each side with the chrome bumpers, the Corvette emblem that's into the trunk. And of course, then you can see with the top down into the cockpit itself, the gauges, and on up over it, even through the that custom ZR1 style hood. Just an amazing, beautiful vehicle, and you can see how deep this paint is. It's like a mile deep. But why are we back here? Wow, I wanted to show you the trunk in this car because nothing, and I mean nothing, was left on this car to chance. Everything is absolutely perfect. So finished in leather up here, finished in the same carpet that was on the inside, on the interior. Your battery is actually located behind this little door right here. And remember earlier I told you there was a little red key. Here it is right here. It fits into this key slot right here, and you can turn your fuel pump on and off for safety reasons in this car, security reasons. So you even got the cross flag emblem back here in the trunk. This thing is just stunning all the way around. This is a very, very high dollar build car. I will tell you this, for what it costs to build this car, you could buy 3 C8s, okay? So no expense was spared in the building of this car. Trunk goes back down, locks back in. Beautiful, beautiful car, nose to tail. You are not going to find a finer little C1 1962 custom Corvette than this one right here. So, all of that said, let's kind of wrap all this up and move on. So that about wraps it up for all of the really cool stuff wrapped up into this 62 Corvette Custom. But remember, when you donate to win this car and the C8 that goes with it, you're donating to help 8 great charities. You've got New Beginnings Children's Homes, the Smile Network, Honor Flight of West Central Florida, Detroit Rescue Mission Ministries, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, National Guard Education Foundation, and Bright Pink. And our newest charity, 4Kids. So, what you get is, when you donate money to win these 2 cars, you get both cars. We're going to pay the $45,000 to the federal government to pay the tax on these cars. All the money goes to charity, and you end up with 2 amazing, amazing vehicles. So, go to dreamgiveaway.com, get your entries to win this car and the C8 that goes with it. That's dreamgiveaway.com. Remember, all the money donated goes straight to those 8 great charities, and you get a chance to win these beautiful cars. So, go to dreamgiveaway.com now, get your tickets, and I'll see you next time in the Dream Giveaway Garage.